Greetings and blessings. How you doing? This is Queen Witchy with Queen of Forces Healing Ministries. Today is Monday, August 31st, 2020. Last day of Black August. So talking about melanized folks, I hope you have celebrated Black heroes and sheroes, those who have fought for rights, stood up for themselves, and paved the way for all of us to be here today. So I shade to Black August. And if you don't know about Black August, please Google it. We got to talk about something here. Narcissism. Narcissism. Let me tell you, Saturday afternoon, evening, I had the wonderful opportunity of attending a support group with people who have survived or surviving narcissistic abuse. And it was hosted by Dr. Ari Garcia, and the guest was Chanel from the Spiritual Whistleblower here on YouTube. I had come across her channel just less than a month ago and had watched some of her videos, and then I saw a post about her coming to Waterbury, and I was like, oh, what? Waterbury, Connecticut? I will be there. And we had a really good time. It was so nice to sit and eat and drink with people and have some conversation with people who don't think you're crazy when you talk about your abuse. That was the best thing. Like, everybody is on different paths in their journeys, or on different points, I guess you could say, along the way of their journey. But we all have that one thing in common. We know what it feels like to be abused by a narcissist. And I myself had thought of starting a support group in Waterbury right before COVID hit. And then I thought, I don't know people. How am I going to get people to come anyway? Like, I'm not from here. I just kind of keep to myself. Because the main reason was because I don't, again, having the right type of people to talk to, like, it's like people don't get it a lot of the time. And unfortunately, as many times the people that don't get it are people who have been abused themselves. And I think that can be very disheartening when someone is looking for support from people, or just somewhere to vent or whatever. And then you're being talked to like, oh, that's okay, just get over about, everybody's been through this or whatever. When it's so common, it's more common than people really realize. Like, abuse in and of itself, just general abuse, whether it's physical, emotional, psychological, abuse is rampant in our society. And narcissistic abuse, from my observation, is very common. Some people say, oh, that's just like a buzzword going around now, and just like toxic and energy. People are just saying these are buzzwords. They're cool to say right now. Nope. That ain't what I get. I think what's happening is because we live in times where information is more and more readily available, and more people are talking about it. And people now have a way to recognize and put a word to what they've been experiencing. Okay? And a lot of people, oh, that's a psychological, legitimate diagnosis, and there's so many people running around here saying it, like you can just say anything about people. Listen, you can say people are depressed, and that's a diagnosis. You can say people have ADHD, and that's a diagnosis. You can say people have anxiety. That's a legitimate diagnosis, and people use those terms any day, anytime. When it comes to narcissists and sociopaths, it's like, oh, we have to give them a pass. No, you don't. It is what it is. And no, everybody's not authorized to diagnose. But like I said, you aren't authorized. Most people aren't authorized to diagnose anybody with anxiety or depression, but they're quick to say it. Quick to say it about yourself. If you, oh, I'm depressed today, or I have depression, or whatever. So, and yeah, I'm trained to diagnose, so I can say it. And you know what? Another video I may make. You know what? Let me go get that. I'm going to see if I can find my DSM-4, the book that we're trained to use to diagnose people. If that's where I think it is, I'm going to read the requirements for the diagnosis. If not, I'll be right back because I just want to share my story real quick. Okay, y'all. I'm back and I'm black. I could not find my book. I have a lot of books and I need some more bookshelves. So there's still books in boxes where I live. But I went online and I didn't want to do this. I'm a teacher. I like to touch books. Anyway, so according to this is behave.net, and supposedly this information came directly from the DSM-4 TR, which is the version I think I have. But I think the DSM-5 is the most current diagnostic manual, because DSM stands for Diagnostic and Statistical Manual. Okay, so it's the book that counselors, psychologists, and all of us kind of folks are trained to use to diagnose people for certain quote unquote disorders. And so according to this, which some of it could be outdated again because this is not the latest version, but in order to have narcissistic personality disorder, and they can vary, but this is the general consensus for this version, it's considered a pervasive pattern of grandiosity in fantasy or behavior, need for admiration and lack of empathy, beginning by early adulthood and present in a variety of contexts, as indicated by 5 or more of the following. Okay, so supposedly you're supposed to have 5 or more, and I think they have 9 listed. A grandiose sense of self, exaggerates achievements, needs to be superior, is preoccupied with fantasies, unlimited success, power, brilliance, ideal love, believes that he or she is special and unique and can be only understood or associate with certain people of high status, requires excessive admiration, has a sense of entitlement, is interpersonally exploitive, meaning they take advantage of others to get what they want. They lack empathy, unwilling to recognize or identify the feelings or needs of others, often envious of others, and thinks that other people are envious of them. Shows arrogant, haughty behaviors or attitudes. And I swear, I'm gonna say this. In the meeting that we had, the group that we met with, I was saying how somebody who's trained in psychology is just very disappointing that, you know, this particular issue isn't dealt with so much. I mean, we take a class on diagnosing people and whatever. But I think that even in graduate school or undergraduate school, whatever kind of training people have, there is maybe some unconscious belief that these things don't show up as much. Because if you Google, you will find out that it's not diagnosed very often. But why? Because the type of person that I just described ain't going to get help. So how they gonna get diagnosed? So these people around here talking about, oh, you shouldn't be saying this and that, you can't diagnose people, blah blah blah. They ain't gonna get diagnosed. Not many. The people that's gonna get the diagnosis are the people like me and you and whoever else who've been abused by them. We're gonna get diagnosed with some anxiety or depression or PTSD for that matter, because it's traumatic going through that. So it's just interesting. And so I know that for me personally, it was a lot of shame around it because I thought, I'm trained in this. How did this get past me? Like I left the relationship and everything, but it was long after that before it clicked. And I'm like, I done got hoodwinked and bamboozled by a narcissist. And not only that, that wasn't the first time. Because I noticed patterns between him, my father, and at least two more people that I've dated in the past. And I was like, oh, now I done figured, oh, y'all out. Damn narcissist. Let me tell you. Let me tell you. I would love for everybody in the world to be healed, whole, and healthy in every way. I truly and sincerely mean that. I also truly and sincerely believe in you reap what you sow, whether you're reaping subconsciously or consciously. The law of reaping and sowing slash karma slash universal law works whether you're conscious of it or not. Okay, that's a whole other video. But I haven't heard about or met a narcissist who isn't harming people intentionally, consciously, and not giving a damn about it. So, no, I don't have lots of compassion for them. I really don't. At this point, it's like these are vampires. These are what people could call demons. You know, it's definitely lower energy, probably some of the lowest of the low. Because what you will find is that a lot of narcissists, they not only abuse their partner, okay? If you work with them, they could be, you could find narcissists everywhere. It could be your coworker, your mama, your daddy, your sister, your boss, the priest, the preacher. I'm telling you, narcissists galore in spiritual communities. You got to be careful out here in these spiritual streets. You hear me? Because any place, especially anybody that has any position of authority, we all know that when a person's in a position of authority, they really need to be able to ground themselves, because you can easily feel like, oh, I'm successful, I'm this and I'm that, and now I'm better than other people. Especially, I would say, especially for people who have always wanted that and have been jealous of other people for having it. And once they get to a certain status in their life, they could feel like, oh, I've got it now. Everybody else is beneath me, not remembering where they come from, or remembering it and being so hell bent on not ever being back there again that they don't want to deal with even thinking about it. So they, in turn, try to tell themselves, oh, I'm better than everybody else. They ain't got this and that. I done made it this far, blah, blah, blah. Okay, like the media is a narcissist, in my opinion. The entire media is a big ass bully. And I think it's very difficult for people to recognize, because a narcissist is very slick, very manipulative. And normally they seek out their prey, they're predators. So you could also learn that your narcissist or a narcissist you know probably has sexually abused people, could be a pedophile, could be bisexual and have lied to you about that. Especially these hypersexual narcissists, you know, they're going around here screwing. That's always like something's up with that. Like nobody needs that much sex, okay? And oftentimes with men, and this is going to be similar to something I said in my last video about trauma. Like if a man is a narcissist and he's had some abandonment issues because of his mother, he's subconsciously going around here abusing women. Okay, so he's screwing every woman in the world, not trying to have a real relationship with her, lying, emotionally being a vampire, just what they call energy vampires, just sucking the life out of people because they feel less than inside. They really do. But in order to cope with that, what they do is run around here acting like they're better than everybody else, you know. And the whole time, again, they're seeking out their prey. Especially if you have a genuine heart to want to help people, many spiritual healers like me, all over the place, have been abused by narcissists. They see your light and they want to dim your light. And I can stop and say now that after furthering my healing through that, that's also propelled me to start this YouTube channel. It's like I was going to start it some time back. But as I see the time that I wanted to start it was around the same time I got into a relationship with my last narc. And so any goals and dreams you share with them, they do their best to deter you from it. Initially, they're going to act like they support you, probably, okay? Because they're not going to get you under their thumb if they don't be slick and manipulate you into thinking they're all that in the first place. All right, so let's clear that up. That's one reason why I was able to let go a lot of the shame and the guilt about it, because once I learned how manipulative they are and how they sit back and watch their prey, they're like freaking hawks, man. And my last narc finally admitted to me, I think it was about a year ago, after I figured it out and I said something to him, I was like, you've researched me. You went out of your way to figure out things about me that you could use to manipulate me and get me to be with you. And he laughed and said, yep. mm. Mm, mm, mm. Really, people do that. I'm telling you, they gaslight you after they get you where they want you. The love bombing, thinking they're all this and that. Oh, I done found the man of my dreams or the woman of my dreams. Oh my God, he's this, he's that. He brought me this. I met this man. He was spending money, promising me the world. Blah blah blah. They say all the right things. I'm telling you, they normally study their prey. They normally do. That's why you have to be really careful. It's terrible to have to walk around in the world defensive. And it seems like that's almost what you have to do, because there's so many people that are really seriously sitting around trying to figure out how to damage somebody. And then it's like we live in a culture of gaslight. Again, our media is a narcissist. The media gaslights us all the time. People around us can gaslight us. And gaslighting is when people try to convince you that what you're thinking and feeling is not true and that something's wrong with you for feeling that way, or thinking that way. So you may tell somebody, oh, I think he said something to me and it didn't feel right and it made me feel bad. Oh, girl, you're just paranoid because the last guy did that, or don't worry about that. Da 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 da. But it leaves you feeling like, something ain't right. You miss the red flags, or you excuse the red flags, because again, a narcissist is normally going after someone that they think is kind, caring, generous, and compassionate. Okay? Because they want those qualities. They want that energy. They probably didn't get it growing up or some point in their life. Okay? So they want what you have, but they can't and or won't give it back to you. Ever. Ever. Anything that they say or do that's even remotely close to being caring is all a ploy to keep you under their thumb. They have no genuine capacity to love. None. And again, this type of person is not going to therapy because they think they're all that. So they may be miserable within themselves. They may cry themselves to sleep every night and you don't know about it. But they will not come out. They're very prideful. Again, like the description said, arrogant to a fault, to the nth degree of fault, So it's a real thing. And it's very traumatizing. And oftentimes, the people who are abused by a narcissist have already experienced trauma. And like I said in my last video, that trauma has been ingrained in you mentally, physically, emotionally. And so it's like it's like an addiction. So you subconsciously, I would say, search for that type of energy because it's something you know, even if it's not good for you. Most addictions work that way. And so the more you learn about narcissistic abuse, the more you'll see that it's very much like addiction. So you will often see people talk about or hear people talk about codependency, empaths, and narcissism. They all kind of work together. And as a matter of fact, I think in my search for a better understanding of codependency and me being an empath, I think my search for more depth of knowledge about those things is what led me to information about narcissism. And I was like, oh, so I'm probably going to make more videos about this that are more in line with specific topics concerning narcissism, because there really are so many people learning about this and try to come out of this. And I know for me, because I couldn't find a support system physically around me, people that really understood, it was YouTube that was so helpful for me. And again, that's how I found out about this group coming up. So hopefully I'll be able to do something like that where I am now. And so please like and share this video. Share this video with as many people as you think could benefit from it. And if you have questions for me and my personal journey about this, or want to know specific things in relationship to narcissism that we could talk about on YouTube, let me know. Put a comment, send me an email, queenofforceshealing@gmail.com. But I'm just so grateful for that group. I'm so grateful for Chanel, the spiritual whistleblower, and so many other people who are sharing their stories, because that's how we can get help. Like, not everybody wants to go to a psychologist or a therapist. A lot of people just want to relate to somebody who's going through something similar. Okay. And I think there's probably nothing more valuable than your own experience. So to be able to share with people that, yes, I've been through this. Yes, this happened to me, but I'm still here and I'm on the other side of it and thriving, or on my way, but doing better, that counts for a lot. And I think for me, I went to therapy. I'm a therapist and I went to therapy. And every therapist should go to therapy anyway. I had my first psychology teacher told me that. That's a whole other video. Because helpers usually, a lot of times, helpers want to help out of avoid too. Naturally, people are healers anyway, but a lot of times, hurt people want to help people. You hear hurt people all the time, but there's also hurt people who want to help people. And those are the empaths. Those are the sensitive people, So everything's going to be all right. Everything's going to be all right. What I know now is I am fucking indestructible. And nobody will ever mistreat me again more than once. And certainly not without consequence. So, if nothing else, I have learned so much about myself in my healing process. Going through this experience with this last narc, I've learned to, I've been able to see, again, the patterns from people beforehand, patterns from childhood. I would say my father is a narcissist also. And again, the shame and the guilt around it, I'm just like, let it go. which is, again, probably the way that I've been able to even start this channel. And because I think shame and guilt also kept me from doing this. Besides, I know my family wouldn't support my spiritual life, but um, just feeling bad about saying I went through this. That happens a lot to people. So many of us are ashamed of our stories. And so it's been encouraging for me to listen to other people's stories and gain strength and confidence from. But I know that for me personally, it was also required of me by my higher self and by my ancestors to share mine. And, it's a little nerve wracking to an extent, because it's like once you put your personal self out there, then people know. Like, you can't take it back once you put it out there. And then what? But hey, one day, the work I do, somebody's gonna say it helped them. And even if that does not ever happen, I can say that I have done something that I promised myself and my ancestors I would do. And that is so important for me. Life is already opened up in a different way where I feel so alive. Like, it's so much I want to do, but I'm only one person and I can't get everything structured the way I want to yet. But I'm so grateful. And the narc cannot win. Okay? More people are calling them out. So maybe at some point they'll realize, well, what we gonna do now? Nobody wants us, Nobody wants us. I don't know what they're gonna do. But I know I have to protect myself. You have to protect yourself. If you know someone, because you could be listening to this video and not have experienced that, but you also could be listening to it because you know someone who have, or you're just curious. And once you really think about it, you're gonna find somebody you're connected to in some way is either a narcissist or has been abused by one. So don't be scared, but be safe. Protect yourself. So we'll discuss this more. Again, I'm very grateful. Take care of yourself. The narc cannot win. And check out Spiritual Whistleblower here on YouTube. Ashe. And may the force of healing be with you.